Hi and welcome to the Trading Bell Show. Today we are at the home of Dr. Odundo, the former Chief Executive of Retirement Benefits Authority, that's RBA. And I wanted to hear his views on this particular debate on NSSF, whether to contribute, is it the right time, and is the government right in pushing this particular agenda? But first, let's take a look at his profile, then get into the conversation. Karibu. Yeah. Dr. Edward Odundo is the Director, School of Pension and Retirement Studies, Director at the Equity Group Holding PLC, lecturer at the University of Nairobi School of Business, and a consultant in pensions, tax, corporate governance, and financial services. He's the former chairman Public Service Superannuation Scheme, former Chief Executive Officer of Retirement Benefits Authority, former President of the International Organization of Pension Supervisors, former Director, Nairobi Securities Exchange, former Director as well, Insurance Regulatory Authority, and he was a Commissioner of VAT at the Kenya Revenue Authority, honored by the former President, His Excellency Mwai Kibaki, with the Moran of the Order of the Burning Spear. He holds a PhD in Business Administration from the University of Nairobi, MBA in Strategic Management and Marketing, and a BSc degree in Finance and Accounting. He's also an alumnus of Harvard University J.F. Kennedy School of Government, London School of Economics, and holds membership of several professional bodies. He has spoken on topical issues globally on management, tax, pension, and corporate governance at the invitation of the World Bank, IOPS, AFDB, and OECD. He lives in Nairobi and has published 2 books, The Doctrine of Strategic Planning and The Doctrine of Entrepreneurship, in 3 volumes. Dr. Odundo, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And for allowing us actually into the comfort of your home.
I'm a retiree. Thank you.
So we have visited you and gotten you out of that.
Thank you for visiting a retiree.
Excellent.
Yes.
I would want to start this conversation first by helping the people understand. Because behind the scenes we have spoken, you've told me we have the Provident Fund and the retirement schemes. And people may wonder, what's the difference between these two? Could you help us understand the difference between the two first?
I think to make it simple, people have heard about provident funds,
yes,
and people have heard about pensions.
Yes,
and sometimes it's difficult for them to know the difference. And the point of contribution, they're basically the same.
Yeah.
People contribute, employers contribite, employees contribute.
Yeah.
But at point of payment, they're different.
They're different.
Because provident fund is a one-off payment.
One-off.
One-off.
You're given all your contributions.
All your contribution, which is employer and employee, and interest earned to that date of retirement. And you're paid one-off.
Yeah.
NSSF is a provident fund.
Okay.
Yes. Pension, yes. NSSF is one-off.
Okay.
I retired, they paid me a small amount, and one-off. Yes. But the other pension schemes, they pay, at the point of payment, they pay on a monthly basis.
Okay.
There's an actuarial evaluation which is done, and then they work out some mortality tables,
yes, and
you're paid a certain amount
every month.
However, that amount is very small, because currently using our mortality tables, which are very old, they have not been revised, people get less than 10%, about 9 point something of your, what we call reserve or contribution to date.
Okay.
So for instance, most Kenyans would have contributed about 4 million.
Yeah.
At the time, they'll get about 40,000.
40,000 every month.
Yeah. So if you contribute 10 million, maybe you get about 100,000.
There could be an argument that sometimes this, a provident fund, when it just comes by that, sometimes people get a shock out of it and waste the money. And some people say maybe you're better off on the pension side of things. I don't know where you stand on that.
Yeah, actually, I've talked about this, that it's better having that monthly payment than a one-off payment.
Yeah.
Because people tend to not use it well. But monthly payment is better than not getting something. Because you're used to a salary every month. Yeah. Then all of a sudden it's not there. So you better get that to a monthly payment. I'll talk about liquidity later on. Okay. And about retirement later. Okay. Let's now jump into this whole hula baboo that we are having right now. And we had the Court of Appeal ruling on February 3rd on the reinstatement of the NSSF Act 2013. And we have had a lot of divergent views from all across the board, the divergent views from the stakeholders. And you sat for 16 years at the RBA, and I would like to hear your first reactions and interactions with this rule. What was your immediate reaction on this? My immediate reaction is the act had no problem. Okay. Because we're converting from a pension from a provident fund to a pension scheme. That's the way forward. Okay, that's the way forward. Yes, and it was not like bad. It's not bad. Yeah, we supported it. Okay. The only issues which were there had to do with the Tier 2. Because Why we had a problem at that time, Tier 2 was giving NSSF.
Okay, just pause there. We'd like to understand the Tier 1 and Tier 2 first. Yes. Today, have to go to the basics.
Yeah. Tier 1, yes. It was very clear, it's an increase of your usual current NSSF payment.
Okay.
But Tier 2 now was like additional contribution, which will become part of your pension. Because now you're going to be deducted 6%
of your
salary or,
yes.
or with your pensionable amount.
Yeah.
And work out what your pensionable amount is, which will be contributing, and the employer was also going to contribute 6%. So basically, you're all going to contribute 12% to your pension scheme within NSSF.
Okay.
But what that act provided was, because this is now a compulsory statutory requirement,
yes.
means all employers must contribute. But we also have private schemes.
Yes.
And then what we were saying that for you to opt out to a private scheme, it was NSSF which was going to give the approval, and not RBA, who was the regulator, who can determine that the private scheme which has been set up meets the requirement of RBA and is suitable to opt out.
Yes.
But the way the act is, it doesn't allow.
It's only NSSF that can do that.
They cannot regulate themselves. And that's why we had a challenge with them, that they should allow RBA to be the one approving schemes. If you set up a scheme today, which contributes 7%, for instance, it's a better scheme than NSSF, because NSSF will be 6%.
Absolutely.
And if that scheme is registered by RBA, you should be allowed to automatically opt out.
As well, opt out.
Yes.
You're right, because it is regulated.
Because it's regulated.
Yes.
So you have no problem. But the way it is now, once you are there, you can't come out. And therefore, the problem is you'll contribute 6% this side, which is statutory.
Yeah.
And here you have a scheme, maybe you're also contributing like 10% as an employer, and the employee contributing 5%, let's say, or 6%.
Yeah.
So it means that the employer now additional cost of another 6%.
Yeah.
I think that's where the challenge is.
You're right, and I think we'll be addressing what the employers feel about this.
Correct.
But one of the questions is looking at the current state of the economy in the country. I mean, it goes without question that people are tightening their belts.
Correct.
And so one of the questions then that people are asking is this the right time? I don't know what your opinion on that is.
The setting up a scheme can come at any time.
Okay.
So there's nothing wrong with it even now, because there are quite a number of employers who don't contribute to the pension scheme. So those ones will go straight away into NSSF, which is not a bad thing.
Okay.
But the ones who already have an existing pension scheme properly regulated, those are the ones with big challenges.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let's talk about the current government, because, of course, a lot of institutions and corporates are also aligning themselves with the current government, and it is quite pronounced. And you could hear the president really speak outright about that we need to, save better. Bring in the savings culture, which really touches on the NSSF and what we're talking about. Of course, the critics now have it, what we're trying to talk about, maybe it's not the right time and the likes and all that. And what does then this mean to the economy? Because there has been conversations that if we save better now, we are better placed. So my question to you is, what does an increase in this contribution mean to the socio-economic progress of the country from your perspective?
I look at it this way. Currently, the contribution is very low. If at all, what people contribute is very low.
Yeah.
A good saving would be around 30%. To 40%.
Okay.
In fact, most countries, that's the kind of contributions that you have. 30 to 40% total. 30%
from all that you're earning?
Yes, 30%.
Wow.
So currently, what we are contributing is very low. So that you can have good return at the end of. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Now, if you retire and you're going to be paid less than 10%, then you can't make. It doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference.
And you need at least to get back 40% of what you used to earn. You get where I'm coming from.
You're right.
Yes. So that when you leave, at least you get 40%. Not less than 10% as it is currently. So the saving culture has not been very good. We need to encourage people to save, which is a good thing.
Okay. Let's now go to the naysayers who are feeling a bit jittery about this whole thing. The employers, for example, are saying that they need a bit of clarity on what they're saving about. And let me just quote a few. I think one of the questions is the employers say that they need clarity on what pensionable earnings are, clarity on how to treat gratuity, automatic opting out of the Tier 2, which you're mentioning already here, for private employers with private pension schemes that are regulated and licensed by RBA to avoid the 2 months waiting period. What's your comment on that?
You talked about clarity on?
The clarity on what pensionable earnings really are.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. The employer has two sets of salary bands.
Yes.
You have people who give basic salary and those ones who give house allowance.
Yes.
So you can decide as an employer that basic salary will be the pensionable.
That's
because an allowance can be removed. It can be there and tomorrow it can be removed.
You're right.
But basic salary will not be changed. That's the whole idea behind it.
You're right.
But that's why most people would prefer you have a consolidated salary. When you have a consolidated salary, it doesn't mean that it's not, there's no house allowance. It's a consolidated figure and that becomes a pensionable amount.
Yes.
But if when you have a basic salary, then you have many, many allowances, then you find that some basic salary will become the pensionable amount because allowances can be withdrawn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but some people combine it. That's the difference.
Okay.
And therefore, that shows what pensionable amount is.
You're right.
Gratuity is different. Gratuity mostly is for people on contract.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with pension.
Okay.
So when you're on contract, like I was on contract, I was not pensionable. At the end of my term, my contract is clear that at the end of my term, I'll be paid a percentage of my current monthly salary.
So that is safe. It's not.
That is,
okay.
Because it's paid by the employer, not the employee.
Okay.
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 And it's a lump sum.
Okay.
Paid off, less taxes, and you go.
After end of contract or termination.
So there's got nothing to do with pension.
Okay. One of the thorny issues about taxing, and I want to just bring it out. The big question a lot are asking is, why save for the worker, then take 30% away from them when they need to access their pension? Doesn't this now defeat the whole purpose of saving and for pension?
Yeah, definitely. You find that when somebody is contributing, you find that tax is exempted. There's a relief that you get.
Yes, when you're saving,
absolutely. When you're safe.
Yes.
By the time of payment, you're taxed. Let's say at the age 60, currently,
yes,
you'll be taxed for 5 years. Because when I was there, we were able to bring up an exemption of that above 65, you're tax exempt.
Yes.
Because internationally, quite a number of countries, once you retire at 60, no more tax.
No more.
Because you've been paying tax all your life to other people. So at that point, because the amount again is very little, so you get 10% of your 40,000, then you're taxed again, and you've been paying. That's very heavy.
It's quite heavy.
Yeah. So, right, the Act currently provides that at 65, you're tax exempt.
Okay.
So this year I'm 65, so I'll be tax exempt. Unless
So,
the government
but
changes
hold on,
it.
I have to ask you this. You retired at 60.
Yes.
So for those 5 years, you've been paying taxes.
Yes.
Isn't that not fair?
That's why I was advocating for the tax, that particular law, to allow at age 60,
yes,
you stop paying tax.
Yeah.
And we are hoping that one day it will come. I know last 1 or 2 years ago, they were trying to remove that benefit that we get as after 65.
Yeah.
But we are, think the lobby group ourselves, we managed to have it retained by Parliament. So we hope they are not going to interfere with it.
So they were about to get down all the way.
They want to get it out and we have nothing.
Let's talk about the Federation of Kenyan Employers, because they are also feeling aggrieved by these current changes. And FK has been urging the government to embrace social dialogue. I think they have structured their way to do that, towards this attaining this sustainable universal social protection system. And they are arguing that only 15% of the country's wage employment is in the formal sector. So formal workers and and formal employers should therefore not be the only persons or solely taking this whole burden of the government and contributions. Do they have a point first?
I think they are mixing up issues.
Okay.
Because Social Security is different from pensions.
Okay.
Social Security is given out of taxation. Not apart from contribution.
It's not the contribution, it's out of taxation.
Yes. And even that's why I'm saying NSSF is not Social Security, as much as they call themselves National Social Security. Okay. It's a Provident fund, it's not Social Security. Okay. Government should come up with a Social Security institution, whereby they need to be funded from taxation, and then they pay out like what we have, this cash transfer.
So they need to be treated as separate entities.
The cash transfer is Social Security. Because people get it once they reach that age.
I think it's
and it's 2000.
Yes.
And we came up with it those time.
Yeah.
It's proved to be very effective. It's something I think should even be increased to 4,000 because it works. It has created certain economies within the villages.
Yeah.
So that is Social Security. So if they can increase and have that one amount, that's better. So Social Security has nothing to do with FKE.
Okay.
FKE is just basically focusing on employees.
Okay. And the NSSF contributions.
Yes. NSSF contribution.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, they have options.
Okay.
An employer could decide, okay, fine, I can increase my cost by 6%, give, and then my employee will also increase by 6%.
Okay.
In addition to the other 6% he was paying or whatever pension was there.
Yeah.
For an employer who was not contributing,
yeah.
I think that's okay. But an employer who had a scheme, because already if you are contributing 10% and an employer is contributing 20%, then he has a challenge of increasing an additional 6% to his cost.
Okay.
So the option he has, he can deduct it. He can write to the scheme and say, because of the economy, I don't think I'll be able to afford this additional 6%. So instead of contributing 20, I'll be contributing 14.
Okay.
So what effect does it have on his balance sheet? Nothing.
Nothing.
Yes. So they can change the trust and everything. So the employees also can opt to reduce their contribution to the private scheme.
Yeah.
If they are contributing 10%,
then they can
reduce it to 4.
To 4, because
the
other one is going to
because the other one is compulsory.
Yeah.
So no effect.
Okay.
So, zero sum.
Zero sum. Let's talk about this fact that the amount will keep increasing in subsequent years. I think that has hit people and people need to understand it. Could you clarify to us and let us know?
That would be a big challenge, because the more that amount increases, the more they'll be crowding out the private schemes. And we shall see a scenario what we have in other countries like Uganda, Tanzania, where NSSF is only scheme.
Yeah.
They don't have private schemes. And the effect of that, you'll not have a very active capital market.
Yeah.
The capital market will collapse.
In fact, somebody said, are we edging out the private scheme providers?
Yes, you're crowding out. They are going to be out completely, and this entire sector will be thrown out. So we'll only remain as NSSF as the only pension scheme, because once they contribute more than 12% or going to 20%, then there's no use having the private schemes, because they'll find it very difficult to contribute. And we have seen it in other countries, because they realize they can't contribute to a private scheme. Uganda is there, Tanzania, you can't see. So in Kenya, our capital market is active.
Yes.
Because we have private schemes, and there are many, and they are about 65%. NSSF is 35% of the industry.
Yeah.
So that gives, it means that the market can be very active. But the other way around, it can be very difficult.
Okay.
But for your information, government doesn't pay NSSF.
Okay, that's an interesting one. The government doesn't pay NSSF.
Yeah, government employees don't pay NSSF.
Why don't they pay?
What I know is I was former chairman of the PSSS.
Yeah.
And the Act, which is their Section 60, provides that they don't pay NSSF.
So do government employees have a scheme?
They have a new scheme. Okay. Not before it was pay as you go, because there were no contributions. Employees never used to contribute. At the end of the year, you're being just paid from the taxes.
Oh.
Employees of government never used to contribute to a pension scheme. It was just you work, after so many years, the government pays you from taxation. From taxation? Yes. But now, they set up a scheme where employees are going to contribute 7.5%, and the government contributing 50%. It's already operational. Okay. Yeah, I'm no longer there. But what it means, with that act, people in private sector will be paying 6% to NSSF. Government employees are not going to pay. Isn't that not unfair then for the government to be hard on the employers and the employees while their own? But going with what we were talking about earlier, yes. If they are going to contribute 7.5%, it is better scheme than the NSSF, which is 6%. Okay. So for the time being, yes. It's okay. For the time being, yes. It's okay. Yeah. But once maybe NSSF increases theirs to 10%, then it means the government will have to do away with their scheme. Yes. And now everybody goes to NSSF. Goes to NSSF. Yes. I think it is better when everybody is in the same pool. Correct. Speaking of which, and I think that's a good build-up to what I'm about to ask you, people have perceptions. And, yes. We have to really look at organizations that are, being given the mandate to safeguard such resources. And someone's savings for all these years is something dear to them. Correct. NSSF is, let me use the word, it's coming from a season where we were looking at it in a different way. We have had people who were interested into the, inserting their hands in the cookie jar, all those kind of things, and the image has not been all that portrayed. So people didn't really have it as hard when contributing the 200, but now with more contributions going there, then there's more concern. Where is all this money going to go to? And
this hand of corruption has touched on them at some point. I don't know what's your perception, because Kenyans need to feel that this money is safe in this organization.
It's good that, when I'm retired, I'm free to say what I think.
Yes, you are.
People have very low, they don't trust NSSF.
Yes.
Because they have serious legacy issues going backwards. So the public are never safe. They're not sure where the money is. And that's why private schemes, you find that employees participate and the employer participates. And they appoint their trustees. As much as you'd say that NSSF is the same because they have the employer there and the employee there, it's not the same, because this one is being managed quasi-government.
Yes.
Because you find that if you look at the NSSF Act, the players there is employer and employee. Government is not there.
They're not there.
They don't contribute.
They don't. That's why you would be more cautious, wondering why you're not.
People are contributing there is employer and employee.
An employee.
The government can give guarantee, maybe. But they are not the main contributors. So they really don't have a role. But
so then to build trust, they need to be in.
They are there because they appoint some representatives, but they don't contribute, per se. So they will play part in policy. But then again, the issue is, when it comes to investments, it's not like a private scheme where members participate on where their money is going immediately.
Okay.
This is handed over to another institution.
Okay.
So that trust is what NSSF needs to build. But NSSF within, not only Kenya,
yes,
within the region and where NSSF has been created, it's a cash cow for any government.
Yeah.
It's a fact. Yeah. So there's nothing new on that.
Certainly some work is needed there. We have seen, and I think we were reading in the papers, the NSSF is diversifying its portfolio on securing the money and the funds. And one of it is, looking beyond borders to invest into Eurobonds and all, and even just dollar-denominated investments because of the erosion of the shilling. It's a good move. I don't know, what's your comment on that?
The Act provides for different investment guidelines.
Okay.
And it allows investment, even offshore.
Okay.
It allows.
Yes.
That means you can invest in other countries where it is dollar for any currency. So there is no problem with that. And the uptake has been very low.
Yeah.
But given the current T-bills bond rate, I don't see why somebody should invest outside.
Yes.
The rates here are very high. You can't get it even internationally. You are safer with the money in Kenya shilling denominated, unless you have a dollar denominated currency, you need it.
Okay.
We don't pay much as NSSF in dollars. We pay it in Kenya shillings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then if they invest in bonds, government securities, it works.
Yeah.
I would give an example of Malaysia and such countries.
Yeah.
Such countries, all the contribution to their NSSF equivalent, what they call the Malaysian Provident Fund, something. All of it goes into government securities in terms of government bonds. So
which are safe investments.
Yes, which are safe, which are guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to, so they don't own any property.
Okay.
Zero. Not like ours.
All of them bonds.
Everything is bond. And you know where the money is, you know the return.
Yes.
Because if you put 100% in bonds, you know.
Yeah.
So institutions have been set, like National Housing Corporation, which we have in this country.
Yes.
Is the one which will borrow a housing bond and put houses.
But they have been silent, sir.
They were there. I can give you an example. You know Ngei Estate?
Yes.
There was that National Housing Corporation.
Okay.
Madaraka Estate?
Was done by the National Housing.
If you look at the houses that they have put, provided for everything. A nursery school, a shopping center, space for children to play.
Absolutely.
Good.
Well done spaces.
Well done. These were done by National Housing Corporation. So they are there.
And where is it now?
It's a bit quiet, but it's possible this can be done.
Okay.
And so that institutions like NSSF should not invest directly in properties, because their board will be spending time with contractors.
Yeah.
Than spending time with how we have the money, pensioners who have retired and the rest. So leave that to professional institutions where we have architects, whatever they're employed, and they do the buildings, and you're not part of the construction. Your money is safe in government.
Wow. I wish we had an hour to have this conversation. I can tell there's quite a number of things we can cover, but I would like really to endear to Kenyans that definitely, and you're a big advocate of this, that there's no doubt saving for your retirement is important.
Yes.
When I was coming here, I told people I'm coming to speak to you, and they said, can you ask him how much is enough so that at least I can retire well? So that's a question I want to ask you to speak about, and as well as talk to Kenyans on why they still need to embrace this.
Yeah, in terms of, I at least you need 40% of what you used to earn.
40% of what
at least, yeah. Because if you're earning 100%, let's say 2,000 or 10,000, 40% is 4,000.
Yes, absolutely.
So it means that 6,000 is gone.
Yes.
At least you're left with 44,000.
Yeah.
But currently, what you get is 1,000 with the current rates.
Okay.
So it's very low. So you need to save more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. You had it. Your last message to Kenyans on this, embracing this culture?
Anytime I talk about retirement, I always say pension is not the most important.
Oh.
It's not.
It's not.
I'm a retiree. So telling me about pension, that one doesn't help me much. What is important is medical cover. Because at that time, you've stopped them working.
Yes.
Your employer was paying for your medical. Now you have to pay it for yourself.
Yes. Your
body also is not the same. By the time the body starts breaking down.
Yeah.
So what comes important is medical cover. And that's why I used to advocate for post-retirement medical cover. Okay. And we have a few firms, insurance companies who offer it. Yeah. I am one of the people who took the post-retirement medical cover. Yeah. And I've been admitted once. And they paid.
Yeah.
And I got the one I took was good because a one-off payment.
Yeah.
I don't pay again. Yes.
Wow.
So that's the first thing.
That's the first thing.
Second, now you need pension, liquidity, cash.
Yes.
Not investments, not houses. Because sometimes when you are sick, you can't sell the property immediately. You know, every day you need your upkeep.
Yeah.
For your day-to-day use. So you need liquidity. That's where pension comes in. So at least you need to get something every month. And therefore I advocate for pension.
Yeah.
That you get, even if it's small, but it comes every month.
Yeah.
And I advise Kenyans, please don't go into retirement with that loan. Because you'll not be able to pay. And I think the banks know. That's why they don't give us loans. Because you pay from what? From 1,000.
You'll not be able to pay.
You'll not be able to pay.
That's true.
So go, make sure before you reach retirement age, maybe around 50, if you're turning 60, consolidate. What you don't think you need, you sell. So that you can just have a few assets, which can give you some small income. Because you don't be having any income. So go into retirement without a loan.
Wow.
Then number 4,
yes,
please make sure you have something to do.
Yeah.
Because when you're out there and you have nothing to do, you have a big challenge.
Yes.
Especially the men. Yeah, women at least have a very good social network. But men don't have that social network. You are lonely. So it's very important to have something, business or some passion.
Okay.
Me, I lecture at the University of Nairobi, and also I also run the School of Pension Retirement Studies. Keep me going.
Yeah.
Finally, be close to your family.
Yes.
Because when you retire, all the children are gone. You could be left and the two of you, so you must start fighting. So, but be close to your family because they will be the ones calling you. Because most of the people you are with when you are working, that was a work environment. They'll all go.
Yeah.
So people are going to be calling you on your family.
You're right.
So if you're closer to them, at least that will keep you going.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Odundo, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank for allowing us to come to the comfort of your home in your retirement, right?
Thank you very much.
There you have it. That's Dr. Odundo speaking as it is about the current state of everybody talking about whether to contribute in NSSF, is it the right time and everything else, what are the employers saying and everything else, and a lot of eye-opening details, especially government, you better start contributing. Anyway, but thank you so much for your time right here on the Trading Bell. You can give us your feedback on the social media handles appearing at the bottom end of your screen. We leave you right now with the markets.